This is a program that enlightens teachers, parents, and students on various aspects of career choices. We take you through the journey of people who have made it through the journey and succeeded. I'm your host, Robert Kahiga, Career Advisor, Kenyatta University. Today, our topic is career, talent, strategic alignment. With me to discuss this topic is Mr. Mwangi Wajombe. He's going to help us understand this. So welcome, Mr. Mwangi. Please start by telling us about who Mwangi is and being an author of a book called Career Dynamics in the 21st Century. What led you to write this book?
Thank you, Robert. It's a pleasure coming here at KU and talking to listeners and viewers on the journey that I have gone through until I came to write this book titled Career Dynamics in the 21st Century, whose theme is Unleashing the Human Performance Potential. My journey has been long on issues to do with careers, but today I'm a management consultant, professional trainer, business strategy columnist, and these are things that I do with a lot of passion. That is not how I started. I started off as an accountant, the job that I bumped into by default, trained in it, and eventually lost passion in it. And I decided to discover myself, exactly who I am, and what I was meant to do in life. And I thank God that I was able to do that after empowering myself with new education as I continue maturing. Now, about the book, I wrote it in 2014, and it was published in March 2015, and it was addressing an issue. Let me go to the background of the issue. As I said, I train, as a management trainer, I train in organizations since sometimes in 2005, 6, 7, thereabouts, and I have a lot of experience working in organizations and trying to understand their problems, especially with respect to performance of employees. And since that is an area that I have expertise in training on, it's like I've always been doing research on why organizations are not achieving their potential, on why employees are not happy with what they are doing, on why organizations are not getting exactly what they want. And along the way, I decided to put my findings in the form of this book, Career Dynamics in the 21st Century, and also bring out suggestions on what can be done to sort out that issue.
Okay. Now, Mr. Mwangi, going through your book, it's very interesting to find out that you say that 50% of the graduates we produce in our colleges and universities are either unemployed or unemployable. At the same time, you say 67% of the employees are not satisfied within their working environment. And you know, this is perturbing. So probably you can tell us, why is this situation like this?
Those statistics are correct. In fact, it's over 50%. And they are not my statistics. It's research which has been done. The 67% is a local research that was done by one of the leading HR firms. And it's worrying because more than 50% of our graduates being unemployed, we can only call it a national crisis. When more than 67% of employees employed in organizations are actively searching for jobs, it means they cannot execute the strategies of the organization conveniently or as the organizations would desire. And one asks him or herself this question: why is that happening? And that is a question that I have been trying to think about. As I said, I'm a writer. I write in a column in a magazine called Small and Medium Enterprise Today. I run a column called Strategy. And strategy, of course, is about thinking outside the box. And I have been thinking outside the box for a very long time, because the column is about 3 years old. Previously, I was writing another column. Before then, I was writing in the Business Daily, Nation, all over. So for me, writing is something that has enabled me to continue researching so that I can relate the problems we are encountering in organizations with the respective solutions. Now, what I have come up with is the world has been transiting in 5 eras. The first one is what we call hunter-gatherer era. The second one is what we call agricultural era. The third one is what we call industrial era. The fourth one, we call it information knowledge era. The fifth one is called talent era. If you look across, the denominator of all those is about continually improving efficiency throughout the eras on the part of the human element. And the truth is, the rest of the world is operating on talent era, the developed world, that is. In our situation, the developing world, many, and I think including our system, is running through what we call industrial era, or a mix between industrial era and information knowledge era. Now, that means we are not in tandem with the rest of the world.
Okay.
And I'm talking about the school system. I'm talking about policy making. I'm talking about parents, professionals. Largely, you know, we are a paper-driven country.
Yes.
And paper-driven country means the only thing that people require is to get degrees and certificates.
Yes.
And they think their problem of acquiring jobs is sorted out. But unfortunately, that is not the case.
Okay. Now, you've mentioned a very important aspect, that most of us, despite being in that era, industrial era, right? That means we still have to catch up with the developed countries. At the same time, you brought up a very interesting aspect whereby most of us actually go for the paper. And paper doesn't mean, it is not everything. So what is this other thing that we need to consider apart from getting a certificate or a degree when it comes to employability?
Careers through talent alignment strategy.
Yes.
Now, we need to be properly aligned. That is the starting point. How do we get properly aligned? We get properly aligned by first understanding that we are in a competitive world. And in a competitive world, each of us has to look for a competitive edge so that we can be relevant throughout our careers or throughout our lifetimes. So what is this that is going to give us our competitive edge? The only thing that can give us our competitive edge today is not certificates on their own. It is about aligning the education that we go through with our inborn abilities. And when I talk about our inborn abilities, I look at what we call talents. And talents is not just about physical talents. It's about physical talents and also intellectual talents. In this case, I don't mean intelligence.
Yes.
No. I mean alignment of that intelligence with what we are supposed to be good at naturally. That will solve the problem. And I don't know whether you would want me to explain how we are supposed to identify that.
Yes, because now you're bringing another aspect, that for you to have the right kind of talent, you must understand yourself, right? You must know who you are. Maybe you can take us through and you tell us how does one get to know oneself so that you can align now your kind of personality with your career.
For me, this is very simple because
Yes.
I've experienced it personally. Going to the long career or a career that I'm not aligned to, and in the process I lost job satisfaction, and after losing job satisfaction I tried to search ways and means of aligning myself. And I've done a lot of research. I've gone through empowerment, re-empowerment, and what I found is that our careers and talents are supposed to be aligned to our brain orientations. Our brain has got 3 compartments.
3.
3.
Yes.
1 is the left brain. 2 is the right brain. And 3 is the whole brain.
The whole brain.
Yes, whole brain.
Okay.
And of the 3, we normally consider the right or left first before considering the whole. Right brainers are people who are artistic, people who are creative in nature. Left brainers are people who are logical thinkers. Sometimes people say that they think inside the box, but that is genetics. That is how we are made, or that is how they are made. And we are either right-brained or left-brained. But a small minority is whole-brained. The whole-brained minority means that they can use either sides of the brain, but at the end of the day, they fall into one side based on their passion.
Or passion.
Yeah.
So do you mean that it's through passion that I'll either know whether I'm a right-brainer or a left-brainer? Or is there a way one can know whether I'm a right-brainer or a left-brainer?
Okay.
Yes.
How you are supposed to know whether you are right or left-brained is based on what you find easy doing academically, for example. Things that you find you are able to do with a lot of ease, or you are able to study with a lot of ease, and you study and enjoy them. There are others, you force yourself, and sometimes force yourself very hard. And those ones that you find that you are forcing yourselves, it's good to realize that maybe you may not be within that orientation.
Okay.
So it is not a matter of, when I hear people being told, work hard, it should be there. It should not be that way, but rather work smart. It should be work smart. Follow what you are good at. Follow what you find easy doing. Follow. In other words, you are now following your orientation. That is the only way that you work smart. So, as I said, if you are whole-brained and you can use both sides of the brain, see what you are good at. See what you find easier doing. And these things, they are real. I have researched on them. I have tested them even with people who are real to me and close to me, and I have seen them working, and they work wonders.
Okay.
Yes.
Now, also another thing that you've mentioned in your book, you've mentioned something to do with fantasy and reality, whereby all of us, when we were children, we had dreams. When I grow up, I want to become a pilot. When I grow up, I want to become an engineer. When I grow up, I want to be a policeman, right? But reality, as years go by, you find people change, right? Are there any underlying reasons why people change from what they used to consider as their fantasy to reality?
Thank you. That's a very common happening. It commonly happens to most of us, all of us. At young age, we are dreaming of becoming this or that. But a lot of times it ends up becoming just fantasies, as the word is, or daydreaming. Daydreaming because if you are not aligned, if you don't know your alignment, and you just want to become something that you are not aligned to, then chances are that you will not become that if you get the right guidance. But unfortunately, there are people who still become what they are dreaming of becoming because of what they have been taught by the environment around them, or what they have been taught by parents, or what they have been taught by the school system, or what they have been taught by their peers, just because they dreamt, or they can see, or they can learn from their peers, before they understand their own alignment from the inside out. The other approach is the outside in. You look at what is happening and you follow it. So if it's not aligned to your personal orientations, like I talked about the brain orientation, then chances are that there will still be fantasies, and you'll be following your fantasies and dreaming, and end up becoming what you ought not to have become.
Now, taking you back a bit, when we were talking about the alignment, I know you've conducted so many trainings and consultations, and there's always this element that people understand about certain careers. They talk about the main ones, like engineering, law, medicine, and they think those are the ultimate careers. That when people are there, you have achieved the ultimate career. But I believe in your trainings, you've come across people who are in these careers and they are dissatisfied with the kind of career. Why do you think such a notion is there? That somebody is in engineering and yet you're not comfortable, and people believe that in engineering you have succeeded, isn't it? Or in law, or in medicine.
What happens, and that is what I have come across as I continue doing research, even during training programs, is that when people are able to score high grades in schools, like A's, A minus, and that kind of grade, their dream careers become the traditional ones which are well known, because they are also associated with money and continued employment throughout their lifetimes. But for people to become, or to train in those careers and pursue those careers, A is not a justification on taking in one of them. You are supposed to be aligned. A lawyer, for example, is a light-brained person. Even if he's whole-brained, the career is right-brained. Okay? A doctor or an engineer, they are left-brain personalities. Now, if they get to mix up the brain orientations, then you find situations whereby we get mediocre lawyers, mediocre doctors,
Yes.
mediocre engineers, mediocre this, mediocre that, because the alignment is not proper.
Okay.
Yeah.
This is a question that people are normally asked. Why do you work? Why do you work? But just post that question. We are going to come back. You are going to help us answer that after the break. So viewer, we've come to the end of the first part of our Pathways to Careers. We are going to be coming back where Mr. Mwangi is going to answer to us the questions. Thank you. Welcome back, viewer, to Pathways to Careers program. For those ones who have just joined us, we are discussing on career talent alignment strategy. And with me is my guest, Mwangi Wajombe. Before we go for the break, Mr. Mwangi, we were talking of the current career alignment strategy, and we were talking of work. And many a times is when you ask the question, you ask the people that you normally go to present to why they work. What kind of feedback do you get?
Thank you, Robert. That's a very interesting observation, because it forms the genesis of my research on career and talent alignment. And I've actually been asking that question since 2007. And it's an interesting question because I offer rewards to people who will score 9 out of 10 marks of the question that I normally ask. But the most interesting thing is that nobody has ever won that 1,000 shillings. For very good reasons.
Yes.
Because what I have come to realize, and even gotten from other researchers, is that the moment we focus on money, we actually don't get what we want, especially if it's something to do with, technical, or something that you need to think about, or you need to use your brain on. Okay? You need to get into deep thought. If you focus on money, you'll not get it. Not many people are aligned to what they do. Not many people are happy with what they do. Not many people are unleashing their potential based on what they do. People are there earning a living. People are there making money.
Yes.
People are there just progressing with life. But a lot of times the focus is challenged. And really, when that focus is challenged, that is why you find people are not unleashing their potential. People are not going through job satisfaction. Because the alignment is not really the way it's supposed to be. they have, in other words, they have not aligned what they do with their inward, internal or internal abilities, natural abilities. So their careers are outwardly driven. When they are outwardly driven on the basis of what they are seeing, the opportunities they are seeing, then there will be a challenge in performance.
Now, Mr. Mwangi, help us understand this. This is a situation whereby you have talent, right? You have your potential. On the other hand, you have a family to feed. You need the money, right? Now, here you are doing, would you rather do a career that you are not comfortable with but will bring you money, or go to what your passion is doing and probably doesn't give you money? You know, there is that kind of dilemma. How do we cope? Because you might be in engineering, not because you wanted to be an engineer, but because it's well rewarding, isn't it? Then, but your passion is in something else, and you know, probably it will not have given you a reward. How do you, what is your advice?
Let me put it this way.
Yes.
It's a challenge and to our society. As I said earlier, our society has been generally paper-driven. The older generation can be forgiven for being paper-driven or not being aligned to talent. But the ones who are going through the school system today, I think it's only themselves to blame if they don't align what they are good at or their talents with their intended careers. They can only be the ones to blame because the information is there today. Previously it was not there.
Yes.
And I have heard many cases. I have been to schools. I have talked in schools. I have talked in churches. I have talked everywhere. Wherever I train in organizations, I try in as much as I can to help people to understand that misalignment and how it can be corrected. So the older generation, yes, they can be excused because some of them may not be able to embrace change, especially those who are my age. Now, the younger generation, they should go out of the way, to ensure that their inner abilities are aligned with the choices of careers that they make. And one of the things that I would advise at this stage is that career and talent alignment is not an activity. But what I have found in schools, especially since I wrote this book, Career Dynamics in the 21st Century, is that teachers, parents, and even students think that careers are supposed to be chosen or aligned when somebody finishes fourth form and gets an A, a B, or a D. But that is a misnomer. Career and talent alignment strategy is supposed to happen as a process. As they grow up, as children grow up, you know, parents are supposed to discover what they are good at. Okay. And if they make mistakes along that path, then you find more than 50% of our graduates become manifested at that stage. Exactly. More than 80%. Yes. Actually, more than 80%. Yes. Of the employees who cannot unleash their potential, again they become manifested. Okay. More than the 67% who are permanently looking for jobs while still in employment, again become manifested because nobody is following his or her passion. Yes. So, Mr. Mwangi, I think you've really been insightful, and one of the things that I've learned or we've gotten is that we need to nurture the children as early, as young as they are, whether it's in primary school or in secondary school. And as you rightly pointed out, that it is a process. It is not a one affair activity. So as we come to the end of the program, probably I will just give you a minute to share your thoughts, final thoughts. And you being an author, you can also tell us how, in case anybody would like to have this book of yours, how maybe they can also get in touch with you. Talent alignment or career alignment starts from the bottom, and it is a process. And for you who are in school and who are stakeholders in the school system, it's important to realize that the world now is operating from the talent era perspective. if we don't align appropriately, we'll be left behind by the rest of the global community. To understand that more, you can get from my book, Career Dynamics in the 21st Century. If you want to talk to me directly, my phone contacts are 0722 51 6210. Alternatively, you can come to our company, which is New Times Business Solutions. We operate from Utalii House, that floor. And more information can be obtained from our website, which is www.newtimesconsultants.com. Please take advantage of the opportunities from that arrangement.
Thank you so much, Mr. Mwangi Wajombi, for those insightful information that you've given us. And I believe that our viewer has learned a lot. So viewer, we come to the end of our program, Pathways to Careers. We hope that you have been informed and entertained, and hope to see you next week, same time, same place. Thank you. Goodbye.